What is going on, Hive Warriors? So today we're going to tackle a question that I get all the time, and it is, what's your problem, Fledge, with 5'2"? Why do you not like it so much? Well, without any further ado, let's just jump right into it. So what is my issue with the 5'2" diet? Now, technically, I don't really have a problem with it. Do I think it is the worst of the intermittent fasting regimens that exist out there? Yes. Do I think it's the worst diet that exists out there? No. Now, let me explain. There are other diets that are a lot worse than the 5'2" diet. And if you don't know what the 5'2" diet is that you eat normally, or a normal day of eating in terms of not doing intermittent fasting for 5 days, and for 2 days out of the entire week, you do your fast. But here's the thing with this. Most of the studies that show that intermittent fasting is ineffective have been 5'2" studies. I don't know if you know that, but the 5'2" diet is used, and then because of the umbrella term of intermittent fasting, the researchers can put in the title, hey, intermittent fasting shown to not be as effective or shown to not have any additional effects, positive effects on the participants in comparison to caloric restriction, or body fat loss was the same, or body fat loss was less than caloric restriction. 5'2" diet is the diet that has had the worst outcome. So yesterday, we talked about the 16-8 being one of the most positive in terms of the study data that we have. The 5'2" diet is literally the opposite of that. And you might ask yourself, why? Maybe it's because they're not fasting for the majority of the time. But I don't think that that's the reason, because if you look at it, calorie being the same, they're basically consuming the same amount of calories, except they have 2 days where they fast. What I believe is the problem is everything that comes with not fasting for multiple days. The fact that the 5'2" diet, for the most part, isn't even fully fasting on the days that you're supposed to be fasting, as they're allowed sometimes 500 to up to 1,000 calories on their fasting day, which essentially just makes it a very low calorie diet for 2 days, and then normal calorie consumption or just below your maintenance level for 5 days. But the main reason why the 5'2" diet, in my opinion, is just not good is the sustainability factor goes out the window, because for the majority of the time, what you are doing is not fasting. And for 2 days out of the entire week, you're fasting. How long do you think you're going to be able to sustain that? The ability to sustain an intermittent fasting protocol effectively comes from the continuous act of intermittent fasting, the continuous act of fasting, the rhythm that you build, the biological rhythm that you built through the process of continuously fasting and then eating, fasting and then eating. If you are fasting, then eating, then eating, then fasting, then eating, then eating, then eating, then fasting, it is going to be very, very difficult for you to keep doing this for the long haul. It's just going to be difficult, because by the time you get to that fasting, you might dread it because you built a good flow, a good habit with eating normally. So you're going to dread the fast, and every time you dread something, there's a risk that you won't do it. There's a risk that you'll say, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and eat. And the 5'2" diet is basically planting those seeds for you to dread, based on its structure of only fasting for 2 days and eating normally without fasting for 5 days. Now, also another thing is that there have been studies on intermittent fasting without weight loss, where the participants are told to not lose weight and they're given a specific calorie number and a specific macronutrient intake so that they could keep the same weight. And they still test to see if there's things that intermittent fasting in and of itself can provide health-wise, regardless of the weight loss. And there are many things that come from intermittent fasting, regardless of the weight loss. And a continuous usage of that is way more effective for the health benefits that come from intermittent fasting than if you were to just do it 2 times a week. So on a data point set, 5-2 is not effective in terms of it having less positive results from the research that we have and having way more negative results than positive results when doing comparisons with just caloric restriction or other diet types. In terms of habit building, it is literally structured to make it very difficult and very stressful, where it is taxing your willpower because it's having you eat 5 times normally and then just 2 times with fasting. And then in terms of the abundance that you get from the fast and the health benefits that you get from the abundance of continuous fasting, continual fasting, that is not present with the 5-2 because of its structure, where you eat for 5 days normal and you fast for 2 days. So all the other ones, alternate day fasting, even modified alternate day fasting, although that allows for you to eat, at least it is allowing for you to eat and you're fasting every other day. So there's a rhythm, there's a flow, there's a eat, stop, eat, stop, eat, as opposed to eat, stop, eat, stop. Or however you could pick 2 days. You could do eat, stop, eat. But regardless of where you do it and how you do it, you're still going to have gaps. Large gaps that's going to make it harder for you to get back into the fasting system and to stay doing that fasting system. So I get a lot of flack because I've made videos in the past, back in like 2017, talking about how I don't really, of the intermittent fasting protocols, 5-2 is my least favorite. Doesn't mean that 5-2 is not effective for you if you use it. Just that it's kind of, if you're going to pick an intermittent fasting system and you haven't picked one, I would not recommend you pick the 5-2 for both longevity, sustainability, for effectiveness, and for overall results. That's just my take on the 5-2 diet. Nothing against people who do the 5-2 diet, keep doing it. If you haven't done intermittent fasting and you don't know which protocol to pick, don't pick the 5-2 diet. That's it. That's my take on the 5-2 diet. So now you know. All right, until the next one, guys, peace out. This is Fledge Fitness. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out, guys.